Thank you for listening to It's On Us podcast. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and enjoy the episode.
I wouldn't call him
Okay.
Nick Fury though.
I know. Well,
But just hold on, just hear him out though. Hear him out.
So I first met Ash, 10th grade. Okay.
You ain't gotta go
Man.
back that damn far now.
Or you okay? Do you want to know how the podcast came together?
Just us
No,
as
just
a
a group,
As a
just a
group.
podcast.
I was there when y'all
Tell them
all
how the
met.
podcast came about. We don't need to go back to high school.
Podcast came, okay. So I worked with him at Paragon for about a year, a little over a year. He had always talked about it. I'm like, you know what? That's a good idea. Like we could do it. Like.
Right.
So after that, we didn't work together anymore. We still talked, obviously, but we didn't talk about that anymore. Then came around early 2020. I'm just like, why don't we get some shit together? Like, why don't we do something? So then I reach out to John and Ash. We start talking about it.
I thought it was late 2019.
It was like late 2019, early 2020. So I start talking to them about it. So we're just chit-chatting about it, nothing serious. Then in June, we let's have a meeting. Fuck it. If we gonna do it, let's do it. He was buying some stuff from Osh that day, or setting up an order. So he just came over when we had our first meeting, and he was like, you want to join? And he said, sure. And so that's how he joined. And then Brian helped us get mics and help us get better with our quality. Julian just helps with just helping us stay structured for
Right,
real.
yeah. Keep us
he,
on the straight path.
Like he punked us when we need it, but yeah. So that's how all this came together.
So it started with you. What you're saying?
No, yes. I was the catechism that I pulled.
No,
I'm
you
the
weren't.
fucking glue.
You
Get the fuck over it.
This is the thing, though. There's a difference between people that think shit and people that do shit. You
What
thought
do I-
about it.
Yes,
You
but
thought
guess
about
what?
this. But
Well,
what was the motivation for you to get to the next step of how do I really take this serious now?
Set up a meeting with the people that I've talked about it with and see if they're on it with me.
Okay, we started in your garage.
Yes, we started in the garage, and then we came.
It's
to
been
your
a slow
basement.
climb for what?
We last June, I think, was our first recording. We had our first meeting end of May because we set goals for ourselves. We said, all right, if we're gonna do this, let's have this, and this by this day. And we was doing our research. Then, guess what? We actually did not start off with this, or this, or these.
Oh yeah.
Bro, we started off with some equipment. It was bad.
Looked like we was trying to communicate with some SOS emergency army
Bro,
people.
they were the old school microphones like
Man.
this.
Yeah.
The stands were shitty quality. Our soundboard only had enough for 2 mics.
We were holding our mics.
Yeah, we were holding.
Yeah,
You got to start somewhere.
Our
shit.
soundboard was only enough for 2 mics. We had to get a splitter. Then we got a different soundboard. Then we got this one. Finally, we went through it, bro. We had to get stands, get headphones, but we did it.
We here.
We here. Episode 21.
21.
You know what? Because I heard this the other day from just plenty of people. It ain't even just one person I'm going to single out. Everybody who's successful just says keep on going. It don't matter what it is. If you really want to do it, keep on going. Don't stop, because the moment you stop, then it stops. So the fact that we keep doing this every week, it really does make me happy, because eventually we're going to get this together, because we're attracting, I feel the energy we need to make it grow, because, the more you practice something, the better you get at it.
Mm-hmm. What is the saying that they say faith without work is dead, pretty much. So that's kind of what we've been doing. We put our faith into something that we really believed in, and now look at us here. We got this equipment now, but it's okay. Eventually we'll get even better equipment, different studio space. We're climbing. Just stay consistent.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh yeah. So Jacob.
Oh, you want me to bring us in?
Mm-hmm.
So, welcome to episode 21.
21.
Where we have a very special guest with us. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Go ahead.
You got it.
Mr. Iben Huff
You're. All right, go ahead.
is joining us today for this special episode where we're just going to talk about who knows.
Yeah.
No.
Stop, man. We're going
What
to
are
talk
you
about
talking
accountability.
Iben
That's the word,
is a police
accountability.
officer in Elyria. Let's formally introduce him. So today we're going to ask him how he even got into the field of work. So that way we can see the mindset of a cop that is a neighborhood friend, I guess you could say.
Right. Makes sense, right? Because
Especially with everything that's going
So
on.
our past episodes, we kind of just put one word as like an umbrella and then see what falls under it. So this topic kind of came up with the policeman for accountability because of all the things that have been happening in the news, and we just felt like we needed to talk to somebody that's from the neighborhood in that system that can give us like light or information, so people aren't so quick to gravitate towards like quick information.
The best way to put this, pretty much, we're getting the information to what
From
most
the
people
source.
say, straight from the horse's mouth versus what's being fed to us every day on social media, because we always question, the what ifs on social media. Is this real or not? So we got a officer here who's going to, be real with us and talk to about accountability, and it comes straight from the horse's mouth. There ain't no make-believe with this. And we're going to have fun with this.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it.
All right, so the first question, what made you want to be a police officer?
So obviously, I went to high school. I went to high school with all y'all.
Right.
I didn't know what I wanted to do. Went to Lorraine. Everybody wanted to play basketball, play sports, whatever. I went to college. Didn't know what I wanted to do still. I started off as an auto diesel mechanic, but it was more of a hobby, so I dropped out of college. And then I went to Walsh University down in Canton.
Nice.
Then I just, as something to do, I took criminal justice. So criminal justice class, you do philosophy, sociology, and all that stuff. And I still didn't know what I wanted to be. I was just chilling, just going through the motions. And one day we had it was an African American like studies class where African Americans, obviously, they came in and talked to us about like jobs that not are hard for African Americans, but they get challenged in society just because of what's going on today. And a cop from Shaker Heights came, and he's from Cleveland. So I'm like, all right, I'm from Lorraine. He's from Cleveland. If he can do it, I can do it,
Right.
And he said he had the same challenge. He didn't know what he wanted to do. Obviously, cops don't get that good rep around there, around Cleveland, around anywhere around the world. And seeing that he's black, I'm black, and I was like, okay, I can do it. He's like, just come down to Shaker real quick. We'll do a couple ride-alongs, see how you like it. Went to Shaker. Ever since then, he was like my mentor. We still talk to today, not as much as we did back then, but that's what got me into
That's
it.
awesome.
What is the officer's name?
Officer, he doesn't work at Shaker no more. I believe he moved out to I think he got another job in Middleburg Heights, I believe, but Officer Thomas.
Shout out to you, Officer Thomas. If you hear this
Right.
message, you are appreciated.
Thank you for
sure.
being a positive influence in
Yeah.
this young man's life.
That's the thing, though, because it's like being African American and then trying to be a cop is like, oh, you're choosing the other side, but it's really
Right.
I want to protect
Coming-
us. So
Right.
Coming from our community, it's like you almost get labeled an Uncle Tom off rip or something like that.
So until you make a report with the community, which you make a report, it's hit or miss. Some people, you'll go out in the community, they'll see you a couple of times, they'll get to know your vibe as a cop. They won't call you Uncle Tom as much. But then
That's good.
some people that just ain't in tune with society, ain't in tune with life, they'll keep that Uncle Tom or trader talk, or you supposed to be my brother talk, and try to get out of some shit that they got themselves into.
Right.
So
Narcissism at its highest,
yeah,
pretty much.
so they'll try to not put you against them, but like they'll try to put you against your own community. But it's like, if you strong minded, it really don't matter.
Right, because you can't really say because of one person saying, oh, you're supposed to pretty much help me out because you look like me. That's like, no, that's not right.
Right.
Because if I do wrong, I expect to be punished for what I did wrong.
Right.
I don't expect to get out of trouble because somebody looks like me. Like, that's not a get out of jail free card for nobody.
Right.
Exactly. And it's cool, like when you come into the people, like it's people that we didn't grow up with, that doing shit. Not that they ain't supposed to do, but everybody got their hustle, you know what I'm saying? Put it
Right.
like that. And even in like Elyria, you'll see everyone got their hustle, but they'll respect you to a certain level, like they doing their own thing. They know it's against the law, but at the end of the day, sometimes I'll see them, I'll shake them up or whatever, and we'll go about our business,
Right, because it's not like you're catching them doing nothing wrong in the act,
Yeah,
nothing like
exactly.
that. So it's like you got to treat them like a civilian until.
Right.
I just don't think people like in their mind like who their officer like, oh yeah, I got a cousin at work that's be doing that. I'm out your ass. Like I'm coming for you. Like no,
Right,
they don't.
no.
They don't care about. I feel like you guys don't care about that. You care about like making sure the city's safe. You know, illegal stuff is going to happen. It's just a part of this whole system. But like you understand that like, okay, my role is to come in, try to show other youth that like you can be an officer and it's okay.
Right.
You can be like anything you want to be. Just like be a strong-minded person overall.
And
so.
the way I always look at officers are, they are our protectors. You know what I mean? So why wouldn't I want somebody who does look like me to protect me? So, I encourage black people to go be cops. It's cool and it's all right to be a cop because you end up protecting your own community that you grew up in, or a nearby community that you might, relate with off rip, because it might be just like yours back at home. So right. I feel like there ain't nothing wrong with growing up and wanting to be a cop and policing your own community. And that way, maybe it'll develop a better relationship between the community and cops, because you just see more people like you and you understand, again, when you do wrong, I'm just going to get punished for it.
Right.
And it's not like my people are picking on me.
That familiar faces in higher places really does play a role. Like kids are sponges, we know that, right?
Right.
So
exactly.
if you see somebody that's like you in the higher spaces, like the first president or the first black president, that gives fuel to like, man, I can really be a president now. Like,
right.
Once you see it, then it's like it's a real thing. But even for you, like I've been like, okay, so before you even became an officer, what was your job before that?
I worked at Lowe's. I was just a Lowe's associate.
And then the transition from like working at Lowe's, you was like,
I'm sorry, man. The way you said that, like you sound so depressed, like I was a Lowe's associate.
I'm just working, trying to find lights for people.
Just floating through life.
Flowing through life, man.
So you weren't happy at Lowe's though, right?
Lowe's is a cool job. Like it was like my second job out. I was working there in high school too, so like Lowe's pays pretty good.
Hey, shout out to them. I actually just picked up my plants from them today, just before I came over here.
There you go.
Got some soil.
Could help you out. They pay pretty good, but I didn't see myself going, higher and higher in that field of Lowe's. So, yeah.
So I guess after you saying that, the next question we're gonna ask you is: do you see yourself going higher and higher with it being a cop or a detective, or?
Pretty much, do you see
Captain?
yourself elevating in your own career, or are you okay with your position? Like
right now, I'm trying to elevate. Right now, I don't really.
Like
Detective work is a lot of work. As Gabe knows, you seen the picture. I recently made the SWAT team in year 2.
What? Hey,
which is just a blessing, man. It's fun. You get to do stuff that you see on TV and shit. It's not more like TV, but you know what I'm saying. Like you see
right.
the SWAT team. You see you dressed in black. You jumping out the van.
Oh, they real.
Yeah.
Oh, they bought that action.
So I mean, jump out boys.
Trained to go.
Exactly, and it's cooler than when you in the moment. It's a real cool thing. Like people make fun of you for doing shit like that, but it is what it is. It's adrenaline rush.
That's what I was about to say. Everybody has their adrenaline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you said, yours is jumping out like that. I got concerts. That's my adrenaline rush.
Exactly.
So it's like
I got a great question actually. So all you got to do is say yes or no. Like, have you been a part of a raid already with the team?
I've been a part of 2 raids. Yeah.
2 raids. Like, are they always early morning? I mean, you ain't got to give away nothing. Like, because I be hearing stories sometimes. Like, man, y'all be showing up at like 4, 5 in the morning. Like
they are early morning.
like a reality check. Like, here you go, let's go.
It's just a part of the tactics.
So sleeping it that early.
There you go. It's a part of the tactics.
Smart.
Everyone sleep.
get in, get out.
Get in, get out. Hopefully what we're there for, the subject we're there for is there. So.
And you don't wake up the neighbors, hopefully.
You try not to wake up the neighbors, but like I said, you see the movies when it comes to SWAT. There's a lot of noise that comes, a lot of window breaking.
Is that necessary?
Sound like your country cousins and pulled in.
Is it necessary to like break windows and break doors and just kick over random tables, like just?
The kicking over random tables, that's more a movie thing. But like the windows and stuff, like there you go to like SWAT school and stuff. It's called breaching. Like so, if someone's on the porch, obviously if you're sleeping or whatever, some people have like doors bolted up with 2x4s. If you out here selling and stuff, you're gonna protect your house. So like
facts.
You gotta breach the window. You gotta there's different tools you use, but you put the tool through the window. You gotta knock the window. You gotta knock even the door off. One raid I wasn't a part of. The FBI came out. I was still on duty though. People might have heard about this. The FBI brought out a truck with a ram pole on it.
No, I did not hear about this.
So they like rammed the whole because this chick. It's a long story, but she like barricaded herself in a house and it was like a hostage situation.
Oh my!
So they brought the FBI out from Cleveland. With the you guys seen NWA?
Yeah.
That very first very first part of the movie where that truck is, and they had that brand pole on there, and they blow the porch off.
Oh my god,
That's what happened.
Oh my.
So I mean, you got to use the tools you got.
I would like to just see that. That's like intense. So
Yeah, that was my first time seeing it. I was like, damn.
So, but even though so like the raids, like they're going for like the bigger, like you have contract with somebody that's importing this, so you're trying to like stop that. That's what they're doing, type of deal. Like they want to like.
So basically, like, I guess what you're trying to say, they're not going for Jimmy down the street that's selling dime bags.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not going for no dime bag seller. You going for people that are big names out in the street, but it's more like the intel from the detectives. So we don't really. It kind of just trickles down. The detectives do their work, narcotics do their work, and then they SWAT team just goes out there and
Goes get them.
Go
Just
get 'em.
execute the shit.
Right, and
They're
pretty
like the
much the way
players.
they look at it, they're removing somebody who's infecting the neighborhood heavily in numbers. So
They protect their community. If somebody is rotting the community, get that person off the streets. That's the idea, though.
right, because my thing is, if you find out that one of your close ones are using something, and hopefully they're not, and it's such and such, like you're gonna want to do something about it. So what's wrong with the cops doing their job, finding those people and removing them from your community? Because I mean, your community is gonna be a lot cleaner, healthier, hopefully, and everybody can be productive. You don't want nobody buying drugs in your neighborhood.
Right.
Leads to crime. Drugs lead to crime.
I guess it really just goes back to like. Go ahead, Jacob. What you about to say?
So I told you I got random times I come up with random shit.
That's fine.
Here we go. Pew pew.
Okay, so when you're approaching, like, just any situation, whenever somebody, like the victim or whoever called, whenever they're like aggressive, does that automatically make that call harder?
Of course. I mean, if I come in here, say I was just coming in here to talk to you guys, you guys treated me with yelling, disrespect, get the fuck out of here. Of course, that's gonna heighten the situation. Then if you guys are heightened, then I'm not gonna sit here and be calm. What's that gonna do for me? I gotta heighten my situation.
Because you didn't took a temperature check, like it's real hot.
Yeah, it's hot in here. I gotta get hot too. You gotta, not to say you gotta match the level of what's around you, but you got to, because if you don't, they're gonna control that situation. You're not gonna get nothing done if someone else controls the situation.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, you can't really get mad at officers
I'm about
for
saying, if you're
responding
there-
to
Right. Exactly.
the energy that you're putting out. That doesn't
just-
make sense.
'cause
Like,
I'm just saying, you never know. They could call the cops, and next thing you know, the five minutes later, the situation can be diffused, and you still got the cops responding to the call.
Right.
so when they show up,
Then it's
keep
like,
that same energy you had on the phone. Or
Oh,
whatever.
no, not if it's high. You don't
Not
want that
if
if you
it's high,
calm.
it-
Keep the
Oh,
let them know you
No, I'm
calm.
saying, okay, when they get there, just talk to them like, okay, everything's situated. Not, here go the pigs. Fuck them. Like,
Right,
That's
exactly.
not needed though. So
So to rebuttal off that question, is it worse for you to approach a situation with them already being hostile, or to come into it, it be cool for a second, 10, 20 minutes, and then it get crazy?
That's a hard question. I'm a chill dude, so like I said, I just respond off what's going on. But I would say if they're already hostile, to put it like that. Like for instance, there was a shooting in the villa before, and it was we ride a 2-man unit, and it was last summer. For some reason, this night it was jumping. It was 120 people outside. So we get there, 2 people were shot.
Jesus.
In a car. And it was more or less like I didn't see people get shot. I didn't took people to the hospital and everything, But this was like they were shot right then and there. No one was helping. You gotta act before EMTs get there, and like everyone knows the villa, man. It's hostile sometimes.
It's wild.
It might have been a block party or something. So that's what made it so worse. Like if we'd have just got there and people were just chilling, it'd have been cool. But we got there, there's 150 people outside screaming like, this person got shot, this person got shot. Y'all ain't doing y'all jobs. We're not EMTs, But we got to, put the pressure on the wounds. We got to make sure everyone's okay. But EMTs have a lot more training in that, But they're yelling at us in our ear to do this, to do that. But saying we not doing shit. But all this time, this person been shot for 2 minutes. They haven't done shit to save that person's life, you know. So
now, two questions now. One, in a situation like that, how you said you were, administering first aid and stuff like that. When people say, "Oh, you ain't doing stuff," do you ever snap back? Did you do anything? Like, or is it? I guess is it against your job? Because I'm sure you get to the points where it's like, you criticizing me for basically administering first aid when you could at least tried something.
Right.
Like, do you ever get that urge to be like, Fuck you doing?
We all get that urge.
Right.
That's human nature. I mean, just like even being competitive in sports, someone talk shit to you, you're gonna talk shit back.
Right,
you know?
right.
Someone blow down on you, you're gonna blow down back. So like, yeah, in that situation, people were talking shit, saying we ain't doing nothing. I said, you know, I was right back at them, like I just told you, y'all ain't doing shit. You know, y'all called us to save them, and they both survived. If y'all didn't call us, where would they be? You know, no one knows right now. So
you got to think about that too. That was during the pandemic. That was during summertime of the pandemic. So everything was probably just more heightened.
Right. So
I mean, yeah, that's understood, but I mean, he has very valid points. Like without people got to chill sometimes. Like I understand emotions run high, but you can't be like spewing hate when somebody's doing you an extreme favor.
That's the thing. Like we're like naturally emotional creatures.
All of us are.
You know, you don't have to be either female or male. Like we're just emotional. Period. So like, if you have more control of your emotions, you won't react to certain situations so quickly. Like, if you know, like, I'm sure they have a. Do you guys do like a psych eval before like
to get hired?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's extensive. It's like it's really long. You got to do a questionnaire, which is like it takes a couple hours, like 500 questions. Then you have to go see a psychiatrist, and give you a psych eval. And then a lot of people. That's why a lot of people don't get hired because they fail their psych evals. So.
Not saying y'all crazy or anything. It's just y'all ain't equipped.
Yeah, you're not equipped. So I mean,
I want to know how long like that psych eval has been implemented too. Like,
I want to see the questionnaire.
No, just like
me personally, I would like to see the questionnaire and see how I would do on it.
You want to be a cop?
No, I don't want. I would see how I would do.
Blart.
No, if anything, I would want to be an EMT.
I see him on a scooter.
If anything, no, I would. I much rather be an EMT. I've actually thought about it. Still might do it. Who knows?
Do not put your mouth on my mouth.
I would get a mask. I would get a mask. I would
Let
get
me
a
go.
mask.
I was just about to say.
I'm already first aid certified. I would save your life if I had to. You know this.
I mean, if you had to save my life, save my life. But man, just try to keep it as G-rated as
I'm
possible.
gonna keep a note in my pocket. Like, don't
no
let Jacob
fucking
touch me.
shit.
What you said? What was the question, Ashto?
Basically, like just on a psych eval. Like, I just want to know because you guys are really like trauma prone. Like, you go into officer, you're in there all those years, you see so much exposure, and like it kind of takes a toll on your.
Has to be the stressful job.
One of the most stressful jobs to have.
Besides being like
tolling mentally, pretty much.
Right.
You see my face right now?
You don't think it take a toll mentally when you're seeing crazy
A toll
shit
mentally,
everywhere?
yeah.
It's
On a normal cop, this dude, I know how
it depends who you are for real,
right?
Because a lot of cops like
he tells me so many stories that I feel like it's on his part. It's not so much stressful. Yeah. It's just like you said, adrenaline and like this
more mentally tiring.
When somebody says another day, another dollar, that shit is not the same when you a cop.
Right.
You know, that shit is different every single day. You can deal with somebody running down the street butt ass naked, and I done heard that about 2 or 3 times. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And then you got people where shit's really serious, and then where you really gotta do your job as a cop. And
I mean, I hear you, but all that is traumatizing because an everyday human don't deal with that. The fact that you got to deal with that sometimes 40 hours a week, whether if it's like extreme or not, like you got listen to the stories. You dealing with somebody, but
you're gonna be on an emotional roller coaster throughout like the rest of your career,
and then you got to keep yourself emotionally sound all the time, no matter like if it's down here or up here. You know what I mean?
And then be able to shut it off to have your personal life because you don't want to drag.
Oh, we're not gonna talk about that.
It's too much. You know?
We ain't talk personal.
But you know what I mean?
I can only imagine what personal life is like.
You gotta find the line because it's like you don't want to bring your work life home with you, especially when you're on that emotional coaster all week.
And you can do it
emotional coaster. What's up with you coming up with all these words, man?
Okay, so like I have my CDL. I'm a truck driver, right? So we deal with DOT. And we see the like state patrollers like on the highways, right? So one of our drivers got pulled over, and he felt like he was being attacked, type of deal, because like the way the officer was talking to him. But I'm like, maybe he was having a bad day. I don't know. He was like, no, I don't like the way he was talking to me. You're like, you're naturally like, I don't know if it's like aggression or like you are being defensive. I'm like, just let him. He probably just wants to see, okay, everything's in line. You're good.
You gotta think some people just naturally get defensive.
Yeah, but if you roll the window down, like, what the fuck do you want? Like,
and some people just don't have social skills after a while.
Exactly, but that is true though. Like I see that a lot. Some like obviously like sometimes we'll be ripping and running all day, 8 to 12 hours, getting calls back to back to back. Sometimes some officers come up to some calls and they'll be hot headed automatically, you know. But as you being a partner, you being cool with that person, you just tell them, you know, just take a step back, just chill out, you know, because it ain't that, the call ain't as serious as it, you know, as you making it seem. Like, so how you said, or whoever asked the question about situations being heightened when you get there, sometimes in the media, how they show some cops do heighten that situation, even though the community ain't not having that situation. So it is a mindset that you got to be prepared for. That's why you get these social evals, these psychological evals. Like you got to be able to relax in times like when you ripping and running and people on your ass and you got shit to do all day. You know, you got to be able to just take a second. Every call is different. You can't take the last call just because you was mad at someone or someone got in your ass in the last call. Take it to this old lady's house and dog her for no reason, you know?
Right. So like you got to leave that energy at the last call, bro.
I got another question.
You raise your hand like we in class, bro.
Bro, that's the best way I can get somebody's attention.
Do that shit.
Oh, what you about to do? All right, go ahead.
So have you ever ran into a situation to where you were off duty and you had to intervene in a situation?
Intervene?
Or, yeah, like say you're off duty somewhere at a grocery store, just grocery shopping. Next thing you know, you see people just fist fighting over a piece of bread. But like actually get mad at each other and start a physical altercation. Have you or would you or are you trained to ever step in if you're off duty?
I'm gonna be honest, I mind my business really good. So that ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm off duty, bro. That's their problem, you know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
And guess what? There's other people on duty to handle that.
Yeah, they got called.
You just call officer, right?
Yeah, like I mind my business. It ain't got nothing to do with me.
What if they have a gun?
That's really.
Then
I may have to step up, you know.
Or situational thing.
Wait, they in the grocery store fighting over bread or something?
And then you pull out a gun.
What type of bread is this,
You
bro?
gonna get this glizzy over this wheat, bro?
Right.
I want wheat, not white.
So I mean,
I just see you right now in the aisle.
I'm just saying, just like or a convention center. Is that better?
I mean,
where people
not
just
really,
get
bro.
in
No,
and
why would you want to be in a bigger situation with a gun? No, that's not better.
put it like this: I'm gonna mind my business. Cause say I don't mind my business, I step into that situation, I get popped. Then
Jesus,
you see, you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Like
that's fair. I see what you're saying.
yeah.
Officer Iben Huff.
That's
how they gonna say it.
Off duty cop.
Off
He's
duty
fucking
cop.
shot and killed.
Trying to be a hero.
Well, damn.
Yeah.
He will be remembered.
Exactly. So nah, I'm gonna keep it pushing, man.
say it like that though?
You'll get some sort of like post award,
Yeah.
like post death award. They always do stuff like that. You know,
I wasn't trying to get you killed, bro. I wasn't.
Nah.
I was just.
You put him in that
This
situation.
man went from the
You
grocery
killed
store
Iben.
fighting over bread to a bigger situation. Like, all right.
See what you
Crazy
did
shit.
there.
Shit, not worth it.
Nah, it ain't worth it, man. You off duty, be off duty. You know,
Right.
do your
Okay.
thing.
You are a civilian.
Just live your life. You know what I mean?
No, because even now, like when I go out to like a bar, like Cleveland or something, like I'll see an officer. They'll be like in the bar area. Like I just say, like, "You having a good day today? You good? You want anything to drink?" Like they'll just be like, "I'm good, fine." Just patrolling the scene. Like okay.
Right.
But if I were to be more aggressive when I see them, like, "Oh yeah,
Mug
12 here."
Just mug him like.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you gotta stop. We have to teach people to not put out so much negative energy towards officers.
Common courtesy. We just have
Just
to.
because what we see on the media isn't actually what it is. That's literally one side. Like there's multiple sides. Like we were talking about this before the podcast. The whole situation with the 16-year-old. Like some people feel that the officer didn't do his job. Some people said he used excessive force. So it's like for you understand that he did his job. I think we're all in agreement. We're like, we understand that he had to do what he had to do. Wish it would have been a taser, but because of the situation, like the knife situation, yeah, I don't know.
And like I explained to them earlier, a taser. So that the saying you don't pull up to a gunfight with a knife, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta match the threat. You know, a taser. Like I told him, you gotta get a good hit on a person for a taser to drop somebody.
And just a quick intervene, a knife and a taser can be non-lethal. Like, yes, in rare situations it may kill somebody, but it's super rare. But a knife is known as a lethal weapon. It can only poke and make you bleed.
Exactly.
Tasers can't make you bleed unless it's like super high voltage.
Say he did tase that young girl, and it didn't work. Then that other girl would have got stabbed. No one knows how many times that life could have been lost. It said that her life was lost too, but you got to think like you can't pull up to a deadly threat with a less lethal weapon, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense though. That's what I'm like.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because I feel like Americans need to be trained on how to carry guns. We have this big issue with just guns in general, not just cops using them, but like people just having weapons and not having the proper trainings, proper psych eval to when to use your weapon.
Right.
I would never own a gun. I'd rather have a pepper pellet gun.
You're such a pacifist.
A what?
We'll get
You
you,
never heard
we'll
of
get you a slingshot.
Such
So it looks like a gun.
No,
but
that
it's-
kills. You can't get
it's
them.
like
And that's what gets
paintball.
people killed right there.
But it's
He ain't
a
ready for
paintball.
the
You know what I'm
zombie
saying? So-
apocalypse.
But
So-
no, I'm just saying for my house.
I'll get to that.
Just it's like a paintball, but it's filled with pepper spray, and you just if somebody breaks into your house,
Oh,
Your
pepper
nephew
ball
is
gun?
like,
yeah, it's a pepper ball gun.
We use those.
See,
Those
yeah.
are they're pretty good. They'll drop you too because they're paintballs filled with pepper spray.
Right.
Or OC. So they hit pretty active. They'll sting and stuff like that. So
That's what I said for my house. If I ever like needed something to protect me and my family,
But-
I would invest in one.
Okay,
Shit
now
like
I'm gonna
that.
put you in the situation.
Yeah.
Say
Shit
if
like
that person
that.
comes in, you hit them with that, but they got a gun in their hand and they just start firing off in the house because
Well,
they're
I can-
like, you know what I mean? Ah!
Like I said, shit like that is
If
what
They're trying to protect
gets people
themselves. You know
killed.
what I mean? And then they hit you, or I ain't even gonna say it. I ain't
No,
gonna
no,
say
that's
that either.
I
I
understand
ain't
where
gonna
you're
say
coming from, but I think I myself would have the awareness of if I hit this person, if I'm a good shot, I know that's a lot of ifs. I can get down him and take him down
I was gonna say
because I would do anything to protect my family.
if it was a fifth, we all be drunk.
But I
listen,
do understand
no.
where you're going to come from.
Listen,
though.
here's the problem. That's what I'm saying. So if I pull up and you come out with that, how am I going to distinguish right away if that's a real gun or not a
No,
real gun?
I'm saying if my house is ever attacked,
That's
I'm
not what I'm saying. So if you were to call the police and now your altercation escalated outside and you hypothetically walked outside with that barreling down, how am I supposed to? You know,
I'm sorry.
how am I supposed to distinguish if he's really about to really shoot this dude and kill him, or he's got that type of gun?
Because you can get one that's bright yellow, and obviously I would have the awareness to. If I see a cop, I'm going to go down to the ground. I'm not gonna.
That's not what I. In the heat of the moment, if you're running out the steps and you're not looking left, the cops coming. No, you're.
I'm pretty sure
Then
I
you
would see
shoot.
red and blue
As a
lights
dad,
coming
you turn
down the
into
street.
a predator. Stop threat. You
Thank
better.
you. Thank
I would
I
stop
know.
threat.
So you wouldn't see the light in the red and blue flashes. You would just see what you were focused on, and that's that person.
But
Yeah, it's gonna be like
in
a
a
movie scene to
situation,
me.
nobody would know what I see or not see.
I'm walking out
Yeah.
doing my Denzel Washington.
I guess you never
Yeah.
really know until you're in the
You,
situation.
exactly. You would never know what I can or cannot see in a situation until that situation occurs.
you asked the question.
I know.
So
I'm
Yeah.
saying I'm an aware enough person to where I believe in my own instincts that I would be aware enough in that situation to not put myself in harm's way to have the cops mistake that it's a gun.
Jacob is gonna find every situation
You're-
and have the most least violence.
because
like I said,
I'm acting off instinct right now, and you're trying
He's
to
a
give
pacifist.
me right, and you're
Yes.
trying to give me what you would think of. You're not thinking in the thought of the moment. You're not.
You are in
You're
a
just acting.
That's
yeah,
fair.
you're in a fight or flight situation.
So you can't you can say you
I-
would think about it, but you wouldn't. And that's
it's-
what you would
and-
fall
and
back on.
Here's what Gabe is saying too, because I mean I've known you long enough. You've never been in a real enough fight to know the adrenaline of like a threat.
You need to do something
situation.
right now. Like, let
Because,
me think about
yeah,
doing this.
When something's
and
in
then
front
do
of
it.
you and you have adrenaline, usually you're either blacked out or you're just focused on stopping that target.
To
As a
my
human.
defense, though, granted, I've never been in a fighting situation, but I've been in situations to where I've had people have dropped seizures in front of me, and I got to catch them to make sure they don't hurt themselves. So that's me being ready to catch a 300-pound man that I used to work with.
That's not
Do you
the
see?
same.
Well,
Do you
no,
see
I'm
us
saying-
both
I'm
shaking our head? No,
I'm
it's
saying
not.
it's
That's not the
different.
same.
But
That
you
is
just
like
said,
having to be Spider-Man and
but
saving
you,
somebody.
but you just
like,
said,
I understand that. That's
but
instinct.
You
too.
just said, I never had my adrenaline to where I had to be
No,
aware.
in a fight.
No, I said not a fight. I
No.
said it wasn't
So
a fight.
again, you're trying to go around what we're saying
I'm
in the
telling you.
most respectfully way manner, and I'm asking it
And I
straight
get
in instinct perspective.
I think to a certain extent, I would have the awareness. That's all that I'm saying.
I'm just telling
I
you.
could be, and I could be wrong, but I think I know myself well enough to a certain point. I would have some sort of certain awareness. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't know,
I-
Jacob.
That's
that's
a better
all I'm
answer than going around and
Okay.
doing da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
That's all that I'm saying.
Okay.
We're going to have to get you in a box.
Here's what I got to say
You
to
need
you
to,
today.
you need
Get
to
him
feel
a
that
rat,
energy of
yeah.
being locked in on a target. You haven't had that.
somebody hit him one time or something. You got to feel,
Wait,
know, that
so-
emotion.
Real quick, so have you been to a gun range at all?
No,
Will you go to a gun
Have
range?
you ever shot a gun?
Yeah.
no.
Will you ever? I mean,
I have nothing against guns. I have nothing against them. I myself Never want to shoot one.
Do you not want that experience?
don't
to see what
wanna
it's
shoot
like,
one?
though?
You don't want to bring in that energy.
My
You don't wanna
brother,
invite it.
my brother did some shit when he was drunk one night when I was watching his kids, and it just from that point, I don't.
You were
wanna touch
traumatized
it.
pretty much.
I don't want to touch it. I don't.
And I feel it when
I
people
have,
are traumatized.
like
they
my
don't-
grandfather and uncles if hunt and shit. Like I have no problem with that. People that have one to protect their house. Like I don't have an issue with it. But for me, myself, personally, no. That's why I would have a pepper pellet gun instead of a real gun.
I'm just telling you now. You remind me of the pastor off of The Walking Dead. He refused to do. He refused to do anything but pray. Man, he kept getting lucky, but he wasn't blind.
See,
That did happen.
no. Just to go back to you though, Ivan. You were in the police academy, right?
Yes, sir.
Went through LCC. If I'm correct. I remember seeing you at the college. Like, okay,
Yeah.
that's what's up. So in that experience, though, like, how was it being a minority in that like academy and just the academy in general? Like,
Yeah, what was that process like?
yeah.
At LC, so it was only me and my dude John Brown, which works at Leary too. He's another black dude. We were the only two black people in the class. But so
Proud of y'all.
it's an experience. But like then you can go out to Cleveland's academy, and obviously there's a bunch of black people, you know. So different places you're gonna get different ethnicities group. But like for instance, not to throw no one on the bus, like some people. They're that's my word, not in tune with society. We had a guy that we got hired with. I'm not gonna say his name, but he doesn't work here no more. But me and John he was 21. Me and John were the first black people he ever met in real life.
Wow.
And he wanted to be a cop in Elyria. So and obviously he don't work there no more. So it didn't really work out for him. So like where you depends
I feel
where
like
you
I know
come
who he's
from.
talking about too.
That really boggles my mind still to this day, like how some people have been so sheltered, and that's shame on their parents, not their fault, but like how they've never seen a person of color or melon, like, and the culture shock you get from that ain't good.
To me, that parent
it's
failed.
not.
To me, that parent failed. If your child's not exposed to anything, then you automatically set that child up to fail because you did not expose them to today's nature and to today's society.
That's why, even with you just said it yourself. Your exposure. So if Parker grows up, you got a pepper pellet, whatever it is. What if he wants to have a gun?
Oh,
Then-
that's actually a good question.
Then I would allow him. Like if he got of age and he wanted to have a gun, he can have a gun. Want to know why? I'm not him and he's not me.
Because the
That's a
kids.
He
Okay,
doesn't.
great
He
point.
doesn't have to have the
Great
same
point.
beliefs as I do.
I'm gonna break this down.
My job as a parent
It's to guide.
is to guide and educate and give him knowledge that I know. You know what he could do with all three of those? Take it and go his own direction. But my job is to make sure my son is straight.
Yeah.
That's all.
I always
At the
say
end of
that.
the day, that's my job as a father.
So
Just
kids,
like Taylor,
Okay.
my job is to have her straight, to get her to what she needs help with, what she doesn't understand, anything. I'm teaching her how to drive. I'm trying to teach a teenager how to be a safe driver on the street.
Like I said, parenting is all you're trying to do is perfect the art of winging it. That's all you're doing. You're winging
And
it every day.
no parent
makes
will
sense.
ever be perfect because you are going to make mistakes all the time. I
You're
make
still a
mistakes
human.
recently. I yelled too much at Parker. That's shame on me.
Man, I feel that way recently.
I
too.
never wanted to be that parent. I'm learning how to adjust. Because Shanta's even said, "Baby, you're yelling too much. Why?" I'm like,
you gotta have patience.
I gotta have
Kids
patience.
are little assholes. They know that
Yes,
too.
they're
They know
two-year-old
it themselves.
terrorists.
They're like,
No, I
I've
believe
been
him,
look,
man.
I'm
when
gonna
you're
try my
I
luck.
believe him.
at 2, watch out. You gonna be like, "What the fuck did I get myself into?"
But you got a baby?
Yeah, I just had one in
What?
March.
Dad life.
Congratulations, man.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, that's my job
Boy or
as a
girl?
parent is
Boy.
to make
What's
sure
his name?
I
Ezra.
give them the tools to succeed
Ezra.
and give them the knowledge I know and to protect them. They don't want to take if him or Taylor don't want to take the knowledge I give them. That's fine. At least I know I did my part.
But I'm just saying because kids are like sponges, like I said
Oh yeah,
earlier.
they take in everything,
and
bro.
They want to see stuff, and then they just happen to see that weapon in the home. Kids are naturally going to go towards it. Oh, what is this?
Oh no, I would lock it up, bro.
Okay.
Gun safe.
Yeah, I'm not no dummy.
Okay.
Well, to get back to Iben,
Yep.
I guess this is a 2-part question.
What's up?
Is there any stories that you would like to tell us,
Like any more? Because you've been giving us like giving us
and
a few.
or is there any questions you would like to ask us from your point of view,
Well,
hypothetically from a story or not?
Well, from my main question was to you guys was the knife situation. You guys all answered accordingly that y'all think the officer did the right thing. So, I mean, another question I would have, just like this happened in Chicago. I don't know the means of the story. I just know a 13-year-old kid had a gun, and they shot and killed him. So I want to know. I'm gonna put it like this: like I touched you. I'm gonna change the story a little bit. Like I said, I don't know their exact story, but say you are an officer, 13-year-old kid has a gun, a kid in general points a gun at you. What are you gonna do? He's 13.
And he's pointing it at.
You want me to answer first? Or, I mean,
Can I ask just one intangible question? Because to me, this is very important. When the officer pulled up, what was just give me the temperature check? Like, what was it like?
From what I read on the Chicago stuff, like I said, I don't know exactly the whole story.
Okay.
But they
so
went
this
to a
is no
shots,
definitive answer. We need more details.
Yeah,
okay?
They went to a shots fired call, and it was a 13-year-old.
Okay.
And his cousin. I don't know how old the cousin was. The cousin survived. But it's 13-year-old, shots fired call obviously means shots have been fired already. Right. So that 13-year-old.
And he hit somebody already?
No, he's just shooting a gun outside.
Okay. Okay.
So.
And you pull up a 13-year-old.
You pull up, 13-year-old kid. Say, okay, I pull up. You pull up, 13-year-old kid. He runs, obviously, because he has a gun. Not supposed to have a gun. You chase him as an officer. He turns around, points a gun at you. What do you do?
Oh, man. And the thing is, and rest in peace to that little boy, because you know what? He was young. He didn't know what he was doing. But at the end of the day, I feel like because just like any other human being, you're trying to always bail yourself out when you know you're in trouble. Right. And his only option at that point was to kill the officer because he didn't want to go to jail. He knew he was going to get in trouble. And unfortunately, his life was taken due to the decisions he was making because that officer could have also lost his life. His family would have lost him. So unfortunately, this is going to sound crazy. I believe he made the right decision. And again, and it's not to blame the little boy.
Right.
From what I hear, the little boy just knew he was in trouble and tried to bail himself out. But the officer shouldn't lose his life because somebody wants to bail themselves out of trouble. Right. I don't believe in that.
And like I said, I don't know the total story, but that was my little spin-off for you guys. Your question for you guys.
So I imagine this is who Jacob's seen in the store arguing over bread. So I would think, no, in that situation, I really would. I mean, it's your life or mine.
Exactly. And that's the problem because it's just going to kind of sound bad, but yes. If they knew coming into the situation it was a 13-year-old kid, it makes this a little bit different. But if you just come to a report with shots fired, then you have to understand you have to come in with a little bit more aggression because somebody's already shot a gun at somebody or just in general. And then, like you said, he made the decision to run off and be chased and point back. So if you want to play this, I mean, it's a 13-year-old kid. You want to be a grown person. You have to understand, even if you were to shoot that gun and hit him and not hit the cop and the cop shoots you and not hit you, that's it. That's a whole nother shit show that in itself.
Right.
And if you do live, you just, you just added way more, violence and made the situation 10 times worse. So, I mean,
And who's to say that kid was, and this is about to sound crazy because we always heard this growing up, who knows if that kid was exposed to Grand Theft Auto? Because we already know what Grand Theft Auto is. And when the cops come after you, it's, again, the one way to get away from the cops if you're cornered in.
This is no knock on Grand Theft Auto.
Right, and this is not a knock on the little boy. I'm just saying, I'm not speaking down on him. And rest in power to him.
Has anybody ever put a gun at you? Being on the job?
Pointed a gun at me? It's a hard question. I told Gabe about a chase that I had where I chased a dude. He got out with a gun and took off running. The way he was, where the chase ended, he passed this alley that led to his house.
Okay.
So, but he ghostwrote his car, so he kind of, like I said, he passed the alley. So, which means he had a double bag. Right. And I was already behind him. So he got out with the gun, started running like this towards me.
Okay.
So I pulled my gun out, but he dropped it.
Okay.
And he took off running, and I took off, chased him. So
because the question I ask is this: in that situation, if I'm able to see if the finger's not on the trigger, I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna see that.
Okay. See that? Okay. Then yes, he's losing his life, unfortunately. Because if
see what I was saying
because
about
if his finger was on the trigger, I would
delicate way to
because I feel like there's any way to talk to anybody because that's just that.
This dude just pointed a gun at you and he started running. What is there to talk about? Ask me. No, answer my question. What is there to talk about?
He's gonna stop and be like, hold on, wait. Is his finger on? Okay, no, listen. Yeah, like no.
I'm asking you a question. I'm not. Don't rebuttal off his. I asked you a question.
Okay, what's your question?
If I point a gun at you and start running, what are you gonna do?
But how he said the
No,
kid was. I'm going off the situation he presented. That's all I'm doing.
I'm not. I'm talking about me and you.
Okay.
This situation between me and you.
Okay.
If I point a gun at you,
Right here, right now.
and then I just start running, and you got a gun, what are you gonna do?
I'm shooting.
Okay then.
But how he asked.
No, don't.
He said he was running away and then he turned around. My only thing was if you could see the finger on the trigger, and he said you cannot see that in a situation like that, then I would unfortunately shoot him.
Even
That's
if
all
you
I'm
could
saying.
see a finger on the trigger and say it's a standstill, say,
if you
it's a
see his
standoff.
finger on the trigger, it might be too late.
My thing is, he said he ran from him. So at that point, he didn't have his hand on the gun. But when he doubled back, you have to understand, and this is what I understand being in his shoes. If somebody's running back at me and they have a gun, it is only right for me to put my hand on my gun. And he said he's seen him drop it, thankfully. So he knew to pursue him. But like if he didn't drop it, I might have fired. You know what I mean?
You're right,
because
you're
you don't know
right.
if he's doubling back to, hopefully eliminate you so he can't get away. You don't know. You have to make the best necessary risk for your own life as an officer, I feel like.
No, and I get that. I wasn't.
You
trying
always
to
have to be
discredit
accountable,
that or
but
anything.
you have to be able to tell the story, tell it straight to me, be accountable. And people have to understand you have to be responsible as a civilian not to make that officer feel endangered.
Oh yeah.
And just as a person, if someone pulls a gun out on you, no matter if they have the finger on the trigger or you can see their fingers off the trigger, the gun's already out pointing at you. They made their decision. They hyping that threat to, they're not pulling the gun out to
Just
shoot
show
you
you.
in the foot.
I see what you're
Hey
saying.
man, this is the 40. I got the whole.
No,
I'm not doing that.
I'm
bro.
here to negotiate my getaway.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I
You know what I'm
understand
saying?
that.
Like, even if you in the street, someone pull a gun out on you, they pulling it out for a reason. No matter if their hands on the trigger, no matter what you see, the gun's
You're not
out.
looking at that.
The
You're looking
barrel's
at the
pointed.
barrel.
Yeah, the barrel's
Right.
pointed at you already. The threat's there. He got his mind made up.
Why do you think people say I'm about to either air it out or I'm about to go pop the trunk? They ain't saying that for fun. That is not for fun.
Yeah, that's not for fun. So
It don't even mean to be sound cool.
You had a part
bad
you hear that, you
intentions.
gonna stay around and be like, listen, I want to see what's in his trunk.
Right.
No. He
Can I,
ain't candy.
can I see
He
it?
got fireworks for you though.
His trunk.
Yeah,
No.
you're not doing that.
You got fireworks that go horizontal. They don't go vertical.
No. I'm good.
Yeah, and like I said, this is circle back to this. It's in a fight or flight situation. That's what that situation was with that 13-year-old boy. So, I mean, it's wrong that he had to be killed, but
Right.
that was the energy he brought. So,
And I think that sometimes the situation, like, it's either you or me. And people understand at the end of the day, you got somewhere to be when you get off.
Gotta go home.
You just had a son.
Right.
And you're not going to let somebody take your life away from your son when you're trying to, why you're there is to provide for him. And do whatever you can do to make sure that he's going to be okay.
Exactly.
And take care of you when you get older.
Right.
And some people, you're out here living carelessly and recklessly, and you don't have no responsibilities
Right.
and anywhere accountability for your actions on what you do on a daily basis. And some people understand. I got. I don't want to pay these bills, but hey,
you're held accountable.
you know what I mean.
Right.
And like I said, stuff happens so quick. You got a moment to think of stuff. Like
Maybe not
Split-second
even
decisions.
Not
half
even
of
a
a
moment.
moment.
And my thing is, and I live by an extreme mantra called adapt or die. And when I say that, to me, I try to adapt as best as I can to any situation. I'm not like Jacob to where I'll keep it peaceful because I understand there's many possibilities that can be out there. But if it boils down to a me and you, and again, I live by adapt or die, in any situation, I'm always going to choose me over the next person because I refuse to die. Because if I choose you, I'm choosing death. And I always refuse to choose die over adapt. I'm going to adapt to the best.
Yeah, so sometimes, best way to respond to violence is violence.
Right. I realize that. But as I am,
We can sing Kumbaya after.
I'm
once
always
the
going to go to the
dust
10th
settles.
degree to try to be passive until I realize, I understand.
You know,
Bad
Then
things
it's
happen
too late.
and
You know how
violence
many
happens.
kingdoms
And then it's
have
too
been-
late.
No,
I'm
that's
telling
fair.
you.
That's something I have to be better
I
about
was gonna
because
say, how
I'm a
many
believer.
kingdoms have fallen to being too passive and saying, "Nah, they ain't gonna do
You know
that
me,
shit."
I believe
Show
in
up in the
yin
middle
and
of the
yang.
night, like, God damn, man, these niggas, they here.
Yeah.
I like
Can't be passive.
yin yang. Bad happens in good, and good happens in bad. Like I understand that. I just have to realize maybe not be so passive to the 10th level. Maybe be passive to like the 5th level.
Jacob, as you know the game of chess, right?
Yeah, I can beat you in it.
Well, no, you can't.
And how do you win?
My thing is by making moves, okay?
Moves. You got to think moves ahead.
And then my thing is now, say if you're playing chess and you're being passive, and you know what? I'm going to skip my turn. If you skip your turn so much, eventually they're going to get checkmate.
Right.
You got to make sure you get them first.
Okay.
And stay 10
I like
steps
that.
ahead.
That's why I said, how do you win?
I appreciate that analogy because that helps me understand things more.
Because I'm saying I understand you want to be passive, but that's like being in a chess game and saying, you know what, go ahead. You can make another move.
Gotcha.
Keep making moves on me until, you know what, you put me in an uncomfortable situation, but then you
It's
can't
too
move
late
nothing.
for me to do anything.
Once you move.
Exactly. And that's the thing with
Checkmate.
cops. Cops are responsive. You know, you got to respond to what is given to you. You know, we're not I don't know what's going to happen. I go to a call. Those people already know what's going to happen. I'm the new guy in the call, you know. Like, you guys are arguing. I just got here. I don't know what y'all arguing about. I don't know what y'all mindset is, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm bringing this in again. Stuff happens so quick in the moment. 2 days ago was my first day back to work because, like I said, I just had a baby. We made a traffic stop. There was a purse on the ground. There was two guys in the driver's seat. There's a purse on the ground. I work night, so obviously the lighting is poor already. You got a flashlight or whatever.
Right.
In the purse, I can see. I know, Jacob, you said you don't mess with guns, but everyone's seen a gun before.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've seen a gun and I've held one and I loaded one, but
So he's chilling.
Just never shot it.
I didn't like it.
He's chilling in the
got the heart.
passenger seat, and this is where every situation is different. On the floor, I can see the purse, and I can see the sights of a gun.
Okay.
Right on the floor.
Right.
So there's two ways to handle it. You can draw on a person and heighten that situation, but I simply said, I'm gonna say what I said. I said, get the fuck out the car, and he listened. You know.
And you had every right to say that.
Yeah,
because you don't
but-
know what his next move going to be.
Exactly, but if he didn't listen, then that situation could have escalated.
Right.
But then once I got him out the car, opened the purse, it's just a BB gun with the tip cut off.
Okay.
So shit's dangerous.
That's
you know?
the difference right there.
Right.
Yeah,
And my
so-
cousin almost got shot over that when he was 7 years old, when his mom was in the shop. Like, he was pointing around a BB gun that somebody, like his friend spray painted actually. And like, you know, he was pointing it around, and thankfully the cop just told him to get on the ground. He just pointed the gun and said, get on the ground. And it ended peacefully, thank goodness.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just you got to respond to what's given to you. I mean, you got split seconds to think. You know, I'm not gonna ask that man, hey, is that a BB gun in there? No, you know, like, and then
Where'd you get that,
You
bro?
wanna see?
where'd you get that gun in your purse? You know, and then, you know, as a response thing to human nature, which I went through this like my first year of being a cop, like actually like my first couple months. I asked the guy if he had a gun. It was a call where I knew a guy had shot a gun like 2 days ago. I pulled him over. I seen him. I was like, "You got a gun on you?" And I think as human nature, like if I say, "Gabe, you got your phone on you," you're gonna be like, "Yeah, right here." And he was a younger dude, so I said, "You got a gun on him." He reached in his pocket and he went to go pull it out, but he didn't. He never, pulled it and pointed at me, and then he just took off in the car. But that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I learned. Like I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, is that a gun?" You know, because then that person's gonna reach for it. Just off human nature,
And as
then
a
that's
cop-
dangerous. You know, then that could escalate it. He reached for a gun. I don't know, it's a BB gun, but in this first situation, it was a real gun actually. But 2 nights ago, it was a BB gun. He reached for that BB gun. I can't see it's a BB gun. All I see is the sights of a pistol, and then you go from there.
And I feel like as a cop, you can never play naive. You can never play, oh, you know, what's that? You have to be clear cut, direct, like, what is this?
Yeah. So
Ain't no stepping around no bush or eggshells.
At the end of the day, man, you got to protect your peace by any means necessary.
You gotta
Right.
protect your
And
kingdom.
you know what?
Yeah.
I actually, drew up that last question, and I really do want to hear your answer. Has your upbringing, like in our neighborhood, because we grew up down the street from each other, has that allowed you to understand the people you serve better? Like when you go out to calls and stuff like that, like being from our neighborhood. So now, like that you're a cop, like is it easier to relate to your community and stuff?
super easy, man. It makes it so much better down from around here. Because one, you see people you went to high school with, like Jacob said, when I was back in training, I seen him get in a car accident, and I responded to it. So you can, like, people will say stuff out here in Elyria that I'll know of, but like other officers, like, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, or I'll know some people that they don't know just because I'm from around here. So it's a blessing that I grew up around here in this community. That's why people ask me, like, why'd you work so close to home? Because I can understand what's around here.
He can be like a cat, like the glue.
Huh?
The glue.
Yeah.
I literally said this. I'm like, I wish more officers would want to patrol their own communities because it would be more comfortable with the citizens. Like, we know who he is. Like, somebody you think that's like going crazy on the street, he's just having an episode. Call his mom to come get him.
Right.
Instead of just attacking, like, oh, I don't know what this guy's going to do. So you just
Exactly.
You build that rapport. You build that rapport with that community.
Right, and I
Makes
loved
sense.
your answer actually because I mean it backs up what I said at the beginning of the episode. That's why I want more black people to be cops and people from their own community to be cops and police their own community. I understand the intangible dangers that can come with it depending on what a threat may do to your family or certain situations. But for the most part, I believe when you are raised in a community, it helps you better understand the people around there. And like you said, and say if there's a cop not from around here, you can bring him up to speed real fast, and hopefully he can build his own rapport with the community, and everything can be cool.
Exactly, and it's about rapport, man. Like I could, if like you say, you adapt or you die. I wouldn't want to go to Houston and be a cop because I don't know nobody in Houston. I don't know how they work.
The lingo, the body language.
I don't know nothing. But out here, I know it because I've been around it. I didn't grew up out here. I didn't seen everybody out here. Like for instance, 2 nights ago we pulled over someone. I was the backup officer, so I didn't really. I seen who was in the car, but I didn't really I couldn't really see the driver's face because I was worried about their movements and everything. So the other officer got his ID, and I heard them talking. I looked in there, and it was someone I knew. I was like, "Oh shit, I heard your voice," and I looked at the officer. I said, "They're good." I went to school with them.
And that's dope.
So exactly. So it's like it ain't nothing to worry about. I know these people. Went to school with these people. Kicked it with these people. Ain't nothing. We're about to be about our business. We're out of here.
Actually, I can't ask you this question. I'm here, so
You can ask me whatever you want.
Is it a delicate question you're gonna ask him?
Sometimes
How heavy is the gun? How many bullets do you put in it?
I've held a gun before. Shut up. No.
All right, man,
How about this? Just ask it. If I can't answer it, I'll answer it later.
I just want to.
There we go.
Do you live in Elyria still, or do you live in where?
I live in Lorraine.
Okay, I didn't know. That's all.
See, and I was actually saying that, you touched on something important. I forgot who I was talking to, and that's why, because I've always thought about living out of state or moving somewhere eventually, and I don't know why, but there's something weird to me about going somewhere, and like you said, I'm going to have to learn people's mannerisms. Like, if I go to Houston, I don't know what funny acting is like, you know what I mean? Because it's just different down there. There's a lot of body language that just tells something, but, I don't know when somebody being smart aleck, I don't know when somebody's being genuine or just trying to be mischievous and, mislead me, so it's always weird. That's why I agree with you. I wouldn't want to be a cop in a different community because I don't know how nobody operate.
And just for a little silly example, one of my good dudes is a cop, but he's from out here, but he's from where is he from? He went to Firelands. Mm-hmm. But this one dude, out here, I say you trying to catch his smoke. What am I talking about?
I'm trying to catch these hands.
Fights, exactly.
Yeah.
Some action.
So
much.
there's a dude out here we deal with all the time, but out there they call smoke cigarettes, and this dude smokes cigarettes all the time. And he said, and my dude, he's like, "We want to catch smoke before we take you out to we had to take him to Cleveland." And he got hot headed, real quick because he. Out here, smoke. He's like, "Oh, y'all trying to, officer, y'all about to beat me up, And he's like, "No, you want a cigarette?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll take a cigarette." It's just like that, just lingo, just little stuff like that matters,
I was actually going to touch on that next because you put it in a cop version, but I was going to say what if you're out on the street and you hear a criminal use a lingo and if you thinking it mean one thing because you maybe heard it before from where you from, but it means something completely different from where they from, and it's something completely, the situation's different.
Exactly.
Pretty much. So, communication matters, man.
Communication
Lingo,
is key. Just
vocabulary, all
having
that
a clear
matters.
message, man. It really is so much insanity in humanity. I feel like it separates families, and we got to stop all the insanity in the world. We got to really just slow down and really just understand the message.
How about this? Slow down insanity, enhance transparency.
I like that better. That makes sense, right?
That was that light bulb.
Jacob, you look so confused. Though,
No, that
bro.
was a good one. I liked it.
All right, man.
Don't come at me.
I'm
now,
having
bro.
to slow it down for you, though. But
Oh my goodness.
yeah, it's been a delight having Iben on this episode. So
I appreciate
Hold
it.
on, real quick. You know who Jacob remind me of? Cuba Gooding Jr. off of thing when he got in the car with Ice Cube and all of them, and he thought he was down to ride, but he really wasn't. They had to drop him off. He's like, "Drop me off, man. Slow down."
Boys
the
in
car.
the Hood.
Yeah. Just had to put that out there.
Before we go out, though, Clifton usually give us a gem of the day.
Yes, I do. Hold on, let me find you.
Even before your gem, Iben, any message you want to just put out into the world or to officers that want people who want to inspire to be an officer? Any advice you can give them?
The only advice definitely for young kids, man, because like I said, I gave a little seminar at elementary school, and a lot of African American kids was believing what they seen in the media, and they're 3rd grade, 4th grade, and they're like,
That's
they didn't even want to hear us out at first, but at the end of what me and my dude John Brown had to say, they was asking us for stickers and everything like that. So for the young people, man, just to get out there and go talk to officers, man. Some officers, you guys are right. Like, you guys just seen the trial of that Minneapolis shit.
Yeah, the Chauvin guy.
Some officers are fucked up, you know, but most officers are just people, man. I'm just a dude from Lorraine, you know.
Trying to make it home.
Exactly, trying to make it home. So I mean, I say just get more educated about certain situations before you assume what officers are doing. They're doing bad things, but other than that, man, this job's a blessing. It's one of the funnest jobs. Like Gabe said, you do something different every day. That's what I love to do. So I mean, to everybody, just make it home safe at the end of the day, you know.
There you go.
That's love, man.
And I got 2 for you today because I really like this with the whole accountability episode. I feel like these 2 quotes I found earlier really do stick with the whole accountability idea. It is better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. And the other one is, I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions.
I like that.
So be accountable.
Heavy gems.
Decisions.
You gonna introduce us to wrap up this episode?
Who?
You.
I'm Osh. What up to the people? I go by Osh. We got Gabe. Say what's up.
What's good? What's
Cliff.
good?
Hey,
And
we doing
the-
this backwards now?
Kind of random.
Yeah, it's
Right.
different.
We did the
Different
last
vibe.
episode like this, but we're going to close this out with the Glizzy Guzzler.
Hi, Mom.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to IOU Podcast, where you can reach us on Spotify, Apple, Podbean, YouTube, and our Gmail is IOUPodcast440. And this has been a great episode with my boys, and stay tuned for next week, and God bless.